The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nodded up. Thank you. I want to welcome everyone to our last meeting of the year, December 15th. Please note the council is in full attendance. We have items from council first, and I have one item. Council, do y'all have anything in particular? If not, I'll go. Could staff remind us and our citizens of the holiday schedule for garbage and recycling or any other services while we're here?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, we're coming into the Christmas holiday next week. So we will, on Christmas Eve, December 24th, all garbage, recycling, and yard waste routes will run as normal. Brush and bulky as well if you have them scheduled. December 25th, we will observe the holiday, so we will not be working. However, December 26th, so if your pickup day is December 25th, Friday, Christmas Day, we will service you on December 26th, which is Saturday. That also begins the pickup of the extra trash. The week between Christmas and New Year's, we do not pick up yard waste. We pick up extra trash that people collect during the holiday. So when you put that out, please put your extra trash out 5 feet, at least from your gray garbage cart, and a second truck will come back by and pick up your extra trash. That's your boxes, your bags, your any type. It's not going to be recycled, so it's any trash. It can be food waste in plastic bags. It can be anything that we pick up as part of that. So keep your carts full, level full, make sure the lid's closed. 5 feet away, you can put any extra trash and we will pick that up. Recycling will run on the 26th and then as scheduled the following week. The same for New Year's. New Year's is next Friday, January 1st, will be picked up actually on Saturday, January 2nd, instead of that Friday. The same rules. However, the extra trash will not be picked up starting January 2nd. We go back to picking up yard waste. At that time, if you have live Christmas trees and you want to put those out, live Christmas trees can be put out anytime during the year as part of your yard waste pickup starting January 2nd. Make sure you remove the lights, the bulbs, any metal Christmas tree stands, anything like that. Put them out with your yard waste and we will pick those up. And of course, if you've got any questions, we've got all this posted on our website, victoriatx.org, the environmental link, and then you can also call our office at 485-3220. And I'll answer any questions.
You said that on the 26th, you're going to start picking up anything. Is that just on the property, on the houses that you service for the 25th, or is that going to be citywide?
Just for the houses we service on the 25th. So if your pickup day is Friday, you get moved to Saturday for both Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
If your pickup day is on Monday and you have extra trash from Christmas, you'll just put it out Monday on your normal service day.
Okay.
The only people who are actually being moved are the two Friday, Christmas Day and New Year's Day routes. Okay. And they're just being pushed back one day.
Well, for further clarification, each route gets an extra pickup in bags.
Yes, sir. And
all
that
get
can,
one
it's
time.
not, doesn't matter what's in there as long as it's in bags or boxes ready to be picked up at the curb. It can even be
Okay.
extra trash cans
So the Monday
at
route,
this point.
the Tuesday route, they each get additional trash, like you said, in bags, and it'll be picked up by the manually.
Correct. But it'll be picked up by the guys who normally pick up yard waste.
Yes.
They will not pick up yard waste. They will pick up extra Christmas garbage.
What's your biggest problem with this? Now, this is the only time of the year we do this one extra, the old-fashioned way, because there's so much refuse. What's your biggest problem you see?
Usually it's people not getting it out for 2 weeks, and then they're calling and saying, well, y'all are going to pick it up extra, and
Okay.
we let people know we did it that week, but we're not going to continue to do it 2 or 3 weeks into the new year.
Okay.
It's a 1 week thing, because we've got to get back to picking up the yard waste.
What I see is, the cans, and then they lean the bag up against the can. And I
5
can't
feet.
stop everywhere and move it. Of course, people can see me out there moving their garbage. They're not going to like that. But
That's
see that
exactly
as-
right. Make sure you leave us the 5 feet clearance between your cart, because the automated trucks will still pick that up. The rest will be picked up with the rear loaders that normally pick up the yard waste.
Okay.
And all this is on our website, and it's in the newspaper. It's being posted all around. And then, like I said, you can contact our office at 485-3220, and we can answer any questions.
Okay.
How much can we put out there?
For extra trash, it differs. We'll have some places with none, and we may have some that may have 15 bags.
As long as it's in containers.
As long as it's containered and not blown all over the place, we can pick it up. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did fail to recognize former Mayor Middleton's with us tonight. We appreciate you being here, Mayor Middleton. Okay, Counselor, we're still under items from council. Anything else? Okay. If not, we'll move into citizens' communication. We do have one specially prepared item, and Donna Roberts is here this evening, and she's going to come up and tell us about a very special award. You can, from the podium, please. And for the record, name and address.
My name is Donna Roberts. My address is 301 Champions Row, Victoria, Texas, 77904. And I am I'm a member of the local chapter of the National Society for the Daughters of the American Revolution, Guadalupe, Victoria. And I'm also conservation chair. That's one of our committees in the local DAR chapter. With that said, I submitted Jerry's name to our national headquarters in Washington, D.C. back in August because I felt he was very deserving of the National Conservation Award because of all the work that he has done on the state level and the local level, really, which has helped Victoria be a much better place to live for all of us. And with that being said, also, I want to thank Mayor Polasic, who wrote a lovely letter on his behalf. We had to have letters of recommendation. State Representative Jeannie Morrison, excuse me, I have a cold, also wrote a lovely letter of recommendation, and we were finally notified in October, the end of October, that he had been selected to receive this national award. So it is my pleasure to award you a certificate from the
Thank you.
National Society, along with,
Goodness.
they had a little special medal made for you from Hamilton Jewelers. I didn't have a list of all of the accomplishments Jerry has made because there are so many we might not be out of here before midnight tonight. So most of you are aware of all of those accomplishments. And so we thank you so much for all you do and all that you will continue to do, I am sure.
I certainly hope so.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well,
All right.
Probably want to get all the DRA members that are here in that picture.
Don't be shy.
Jerry, I was going to ask, did you want your job back? Or?
We'll talk about that.
All right, if everybody would just get a little.
Just like the police officer can.
Here we go. Three, two. Robert? Oh,
You're okay.
I'm not playing.
we could be here a long time if we started telling stories, and I don't think Mr. James would like us to tell all those. You know, so many of us have traveled with him to Austin, and I know, former Mayor Middleton and myself, it's interesting, he would say, well, come with me because, you're the mayor and they might talk to us. Well, it was the other way around. They saw Jerry, and so many of those people, the representatives, knew him and trusted him for his knowledge, and they would consult with him. So we were very fortunate to have you, and that award is very well deserved. So
Thank you very much.
congratulations.
Can I make a few remarks, Mayor?
Absolutely.
Not that I usually like to talk when I'm up here. I'm amazed. I'm always amazed at these kinds of things, but especially with this and with the honor that this is. And I do have to say that, it's an award to me, and I appreciate that very much, but it's an award to this city. We are given opportunities. The city gave me a lot of opportunities to do some really neat things. With water, with solid waste, with other environmental issues, with air, and the support to do that. And a lot of it was the vision of city managers with city council, and giving us a chance to get out there and do some new things and make some things grow, to acquire some water rights, to make changes and work with other folks and making changes in how the laws of the state work, so that we were able to better use those water rights and other environmental resources that we had. But it was a team effort. It always is. I had the support of my family going through that, being gone quite a bit, but it was something that they understood. The support of working with all the folks on the staff. I'm a kind of an idea guy, but it takes a lot of folks to make these things actually happen. And they are continuing to do that, and you've got a great bunch of folks working for you. Charmel kind of caught me at the end of my career, and I know it wasn't always really easy to manage, but she was very supportive of that and gave me just enough rope to keep me from hanging myself sometimes. But I appreciate the opportunity that this city gave me to be able to get out there and to do some things and to work with some great people. And I thank y'all very much for that. And I thank y'all very much for this honor. I really do. It's just wonderful. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Citizens communication is still open for anyone else who'd like to come forward and discuss anything at all. Okay, seeing no one come forward, we'll close citizens communication and we'll move into our ordinances.
Item C1 is an ordinance amending Chapters 5 and 9 of the Victoria City Code by adopting the 2015 International Building Code Series and the 2014 National Electric Code as amended and modified herein, repealing all conflicting ordinances and providing for enforcement and a penalty upon conviction not to exceed $2,000 respectively, providing for publication and codification and savings, and declaring an effective date. This is the second and third reading.
Make a motion, we approve item C1.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, thank you. And C2.
C2 is a resolution granting an annexation petition from the Victoria Electric Cooperative for approximately 15.01 acres of land, authorizing the city staff to prepare an ordinance for city council consideration and declaring an effective date.
Let's go ahead and open the public hearing on this one real quick, see if anyone would like to speak to C2 specifically. I don't see anyone, so we'll close public hearing on C2 and I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Are there any questions, council?
Do we know what that's going to be yet?
An office,
Just
isn't
said a general commercial lot, but
The general commercial is just a designation on the plat, but the co-op intends to build a new facility on the property.
really? Okay.
it? Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. C3.
Item C3 is a public hearing on the CDBG Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for the period of October 1st, 2014 through September 30th of 2015. And Mr. Mayor, there is no action required on this other than a public hearing.
Well, let's open the public hearing on C3. Okay, seeing no one come forward to speak about C3, we'll close the public hearing, and as was stated, we do not have a vote or any other action taken.
That's correct.
Okay.
Item
C4.
C4 is an ordinance amending sections 21-100, 21-102, and 21-104 of the Victoria City Code by revising regulations pertaining to off-street storage and display and screening fences, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for publication, codification, and savings, and declaring an effective date.
Let's open the public hearing on C4. If anyone would like to speak to C4, if not, seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve item C4.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion?
Question. I guess this is the first reading. Where did this come from? What are we trying to fix?
These are a couple of issues that staff has noticed. As you probably read the CM1, there are two issues we're dealing with: screening fences and off-street storage. The off-street storage, staff has long had an interpretation about what areas were required to have paved surfaces. We've been implementing for years large sites, an industrial site with industrial equipment. If you read the way the ordinance is written, the letter of the law, it would require that entire area, entire storage area, to be paved. We've long had an interpretation that those areas that are behind a secured fence or did not have to be paved with asphalt or concrete. And that interpretation and the way different local applicants have wanted to massage that to bring it down to smaller sites, we just felt like we needed to codify it and say this is when you're going to pave and this is when we have the option to allow a secured storage area that's just a gravel area. The screening fences is just another thing that we thought while we were addressing the off-street storage paving requirement, we would go in and try to tweak the screening fence a little bit. We had some complaints with the new Twice Blessed facility and the way the screening fence was done on that, so it caused staff to go back and look and see if there weren't some minor modifications we could make that would have allowed that screening fence, the 8-foot screening fence, to go out a little bit further and provide a little bit more screening between a commercial business and a single-family residence next door. So that's what this is attempting to do, just to extend that screening fence, the height, out just a little bit further to the street.
I see, I guess because it angles so that you can see around it.
Right. Currently, the screening fence ordinance doesn't allow a screening fence taller than 3 foot in a front yard or an exterior side yard. So in that example, you'd have 15 to 20 feet area there where the screening fence is only 3 foot tall instead of the 8 foot. So we're simply moving that out a little bit closer into the street yard to provide a little bit more screening area there.
Jerry, I was looking at the Planning Commission meeting the other day, and I noticed that they had brought up this particular item between the Twice Blessed home and the residence next to it. And I know they were making reference to this ordinance. Are they going to have a variance, or are they going to be required to go back to this?
This rule would apply to new commercial businesses going forward after it's adopted. What's there, it meets the code to the letter of it, so that's just the way it'll be allowed to remain.
Just wanted to make sure.
What's there is existing and it's fine. So
I had, and I apologize, was whispering to the city manager, I was thinking, I had some issues with curb and gutter issues, but that's not part of this. That's a different section. We can talk about that later. So, anyway, I just want to clarify that. Any further questions for Mr. Mayfield? Okay, this is the first reading, and it will come back for a second and third in January. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is the approval of minutes of the regular meeting held on December 1st, 2015. The second is a resolution authorizing the city manager to pay the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality $59,868.90 for the annual water systems fee for the city's public water system and declaring an effective date. And the third is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a renewal of the contract for mowing drainage ditches and outfalls with WW Services in the amount of $311,940 and declaring an effective date.
Move we adopt consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Resolutions.
Item E2 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Media Rushworks LLC, doing business as Rushworks, for the purchase, installation, and maintenance of a high-definition television production system in the amount of $35,257 and declaring an effective date.
You mean E1?
Sorry?
I thought I heard E2.
No, E1. That's what you just read, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but he said E2.
Did I say
Yes.
E2? I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. You got Christmas on your mind.
Apparently so.
That's okay.
I'm in a hurry to get there.
Discussion, questions?
I have a question. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but I am still new, and several people have asked me, can't we find something better to do with $35,000? So could you explain to me again, what's causing this, where this comes from, where the money comes from, why we need this, and certainly why we need high definition?
Sure.
Thank you.
We have had our current standard definition system in place since really television channels started, I think, 8 years ago. It's degraded. If you watch council meetings, you'll notice some interference. You'll notice the signal isn't as good as it used to be. And it's just the nature of technology and just having equipment in place that's been in use for a long time. As far as the switching over to high definition, basically almost 100% of televisions that are sold today are high definition televisions. So it doesn't have to resize itself. The equipment is a little bit more expensive, but that's the standard format basically for all the media moving forward. And we are in the process of replacing this equipment. And all the other programming on VTV 115 is high definition. As a lot of people may be aware, our cable company, Suddenlink, has given us both a high definition and a standard definition channel. The city council meetings and planning commission, parks commission meetings are the only meetings we have and the only programming we do that are not in high definition. So when they've converted to digital, we also up-converted to high definition, and basically that's just the standard format. Even our YouTube programs are done in basically high definition because it's the standard format that's basically being accepted by the viewing public. As far as cost, this is being paid for by PEG funds. Last year, our local cable franchise agreement expired. So we were put on the statewide cable franchise agreement for cities that have a municipal television channel. In prior years, we didn't get any money from our local cable franchise agreement dedicated to the channel, but part of the state cable franchise contract gives municipalities that have a municipal television channel an extra 1% of the cable company's gross, I guess is it gross revenues? Yes, gross revenues, that must be spent on capital items only for the municipal television channel. So we have to spend that money on capital items that are basically used for the television channel. And as we upgrade equipment, we basically are just upgrading to the current standards of cable casting and broadcasting television. And just for your information, we currently our revenue income per year is estimated to $180,000 a year is what we get from the state franchise agreement. We currently have a balance of $198,000 in that account. And then we estimate a balance of $280,000 in that account once the fiscal year is over. We also have some other equipment we're planning that will modernize the projections here in council chambers. So in a nutshell, we're kind of just keeping up with broadcast standards, and this was discussed before you were elected to office as a way to maintain good quality viewing product for the public and something that is standardized. Standard definition is definitely on its way out.
Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Garza, you said they're PEG, P-E-G, PEG funds?
PEG, yes.
Okay, so it's not property tax, it's not sales tax?
No.
It's funds collected from the franchise agreement?
That's correct.
With the cable company?
Cable companies, and again, that used to be under local control. Now, with the State Cable Franchise Act, that's all controlled by the Public Utility Commission out of Austin. But we continue to get the revenues from that. And this 1% that was added last year is dedicated to capital items only for the television channel.
Now, we currently contract with the company to
Yes.
produce this.
That produces these.
That will continue?
That will continue at a less expensive contract, because basically what this does, and maybe I didn't answer the councilwoman's question on this, this basically puts a total television production system in council chambers permanently. So it's not a portable unit that we bring in. We will be replacing all the cameras. We will be adding 2 more cameras, one so we can videotape what happens here kind of in front of the podium awards, such as we gave this evening. So that can be documented. And then we needed 1 more camera just basically to improve the views and make it easier to switch out the
So it's going to be
shots.
our equipment?
This is our equipment. We will program probably with a Gamma, because they're one of the few companies locally that know how to use the production equipment, but we'll contract with them just for the person to produce each program.
Okay.
But we don't need their equipment from that point forward, yes.
Okay. I think that it's added tremendously to our transparency and education of the public. I think it's great. So, well done.
And we have had, as you may have noticed, we've had some equipment. A Gamma that we currently lease this equipment from we've had production equipment. This portable unit has probably outlived its life expectancy, and it has been repaired. They've done a great job, and they've been a very, very reliable company, and we do plan to use them moving forward. But with our equipment in place, it'll be at a much reduced cost on the contract for that.
Okay, and that's ongoing. And I
Yes.
agree, they have done a great job. So
They have.
I appreciate
They have.
that.
The only downside is we're going to have to start wearing a little better makeup or something.
Oh, yeah, high def, that's right.
Well, it is high def,
When you
yes.
said increasing our transparency, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we'll be okay. So,
I might add, those mics on that side seem to be a little bit softer when you watch the programming. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but I noticed that those mics seem to play a second role to, when these come on, it just takes over those mics. On the audio, I've noticed that, so hopefully you can resolve
Well, we'll check into that. You know, technically, the way the audio system works is there are, I believe, 11 or 12 mics up there that are on. That includes podium. I believe City Secretary has a manual switch back there, but the finance, the media table, all your mics are on all the time. So when you start speaking, depending on how the conversation goes, that mic gets activated. So it requires some pretty good equipment that's back there next to Scarlett to maintain that, and fairly modern equipment to keep the feedback down. But at the same time, we'll check the levels. If that's the case, we definitely can adjust the levels on that side of the days.
very good. Good questions. Thank you, Mr. Gardner. So we have a motion, second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Item E2 is a resolution granting a variance to Section 21-82G of the Victoria City Code related to subdivision and development, which does not allow buildings or structures to be constructed over building setbacks lines, to allow the construction of carports on property located at 3104 Sam Houston Drive and 104 Abbey Street, known as Tremont Apartments, and declaring an effective date.
Council,
I move to adopt.
Second.
we have a motion and second. Are there any questions? Thought the CM1 was explained very well. Whoever did that. Okay. Seeing no questions, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you.
Item E3 is a resolution approving the sale of tax foreclosed properties, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents necessary to convey said properties, and declaring an effective date.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions?
The one on Juan Lynn, why does it not have a physical address?
It doesn't have a street address because it doesn't have street frontage. It's a small parcel of property set back from the street, and there's no street address assigned to that property. So I understand it can be confusing to look at that, and it might look like we're selling Juan Lynn, but we're not.
Maybe somebody will buy it.
Okay. No further questions or discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Item E4 is a resolution adopting the design-build method as the construction method for the proposed Parks and Recreation Administration Building and Maintenance Facility, and delegating authority to oversee the process to the city manager and declaring an effective date.
Make a motion to adopt E4.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any questions?
What kind of savings do we anticipate realizing by going this way?
I don't know that we've got a firm number. Toby, do you have any idea on a firm number?
I don't have a firm number, but we're looking at a building that will come from like a Mueller or something of that nature, so we won't have to have it. It'll come pre-engineered stamp, pre-architecture, and so we won't have to design that part of it with going with the design build process.
Respect building, basically.
Yes, sir.
Metal building,
What's your budget?
1.5 million for everything.
When I read about this, the way I see it is you're going to get as much as you can for the 1.5 million by doing this, as opposed to come in at 1.42. You're going to be able to save quite a bit of time. It's a fairly generic structure, and so there's no need, and you're consolidating an architect and contractor into one quick, I guess, one position. It goes faster. Not like the fire stations. It's a little different.
Yeah, we don't have fire station money.
Yeah. Oh. But, my only and I'm just sharing this with council, my only question was that, does staff have time to take care of all that? And I've been assured they do. They know what they want, and they'll be able to handle it. So I'm happy. I think it's a good way. Yeah.
Definitely a good way, and I think, from what I've seen, the city does a good job of laying out specifically what they want in the building, which is imperative to make sure you get something on the front end when you bid out from the design build standpoint.
Excellent.
Thank you. Good product.
And just as a reminder too, we will still have to hire an independent architect to oversee the process to protect our interests from the design build. But we still think it's beneficial from this cost savings and efficiency time. So.
Good. All right. And it's going to be right off the entrance there, up by where those old ball fields are.
Yes, sir.
Across from the children's playground.
Yes, correct.
Kind of up in there. Okay. I get asked that a lot. That's why I want to say that. So, any further questions? Mr. Alvarez.
We're talking about a metal building, right?
Yes, sir.
But I would hope aesthetically, it's not going to look like a metal building.
We'll put a facade on it, but it'll be a structure.
Because I like the way, like the
structure.
the water treatment plant has that beautiful front, Austin stone, I guess. But that it would be sensitive to the entrance there, that it's just not a metal building.
We want it to blend into the park.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Number 5.
E5 is a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement with Civil Corps LLC for preliminary engineering, surveying, design, and bidding for the Placido Benavides Road extension from Glasgow to Salem in the amount of $795,500 and declaring an effective date.
Move we adopt E5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and Mr. Short's at the podium. I have some questions, but anybody else want to go first?
Time frame,
I'm sorry?
time frame?
Time frame, we hope to, some of it's going to depend on right-of-way acquisition on this project, but we hope to be ready to bid October 2016, somewhere close there. And then, of course, we would award in early fiscal year 2017, which is when the funding is available in our CIP.
Okay, that's going to come up quick. So my question, and I always have sticker shock on everything we buy, and it's not to say that, but with engineering especially, how is this comparable to other engineering work we've had done, other projects?
Certainly. staff has looked extensively at this proposal and fees, and we believe it to be sound. The construction estimate for this project is $7.48 million. So when you look at this fee, this proposal, first let me say, is for the topo survey, for the study phase, the preliminary engineering, the final design, the bidding services, and the right-of-way mapping. So laying out a right-of-way and then doing all the survey associated with land acquisition or right-of-way acquisition, meets and bounds descriptions. So it does not include construction phase services, because those won't happen until we go under contract, under actual construction. So we'll do a separate contract for that in FY17. But when you look at these services in comparison to the construction estimate, we're at 10.6%. Typically on civil projects, these same services, the range is about 9.5% to 10.5%. However, this is not a typical civil project. This is a project where we're extending a new road across undeveloped property. So there's some extra steps that have to be taken that require sub-consultants. Those include things like a geotechnical sub-consultant that'll do a soils analysis and recommend a pavement section that will hold up to those soil conditions. Also, an environmental survey has to be done because we're going across undeveloped property, so we need to make sure there's no environmental hazards that must be mitigated prior to construction or during construction. Because we're doing putting box culverts across Whispering Creek and building a road across it, FEMA will require that we do a letter of map revision to them to show what effect that will and change will have on the floodplain and floodway. So that's a substantial additional cost. And then finally, because we're acquiring quite a bit of right-of-way, you've got that right-of-way mapping is like, a lot of additional surveying that's included there. So if you take out the fee for those extra services that you don't typically see on a normal civil project, that drops the percentage down to 9%, which is actually below what we typically see.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of work.
It's an extensive project, again, a $7.48 million
We
project.
have a really good relationship with Civil Corp, and I do appreciate what they do for us. It just, again, like I say, sometimes I get sticker shock, so.
Certainly.
But that's a good explanation.
Here,
Mr.
I have a
Alvarez.
couple of questions, Lynn.
Yes,
So we have not purchased the right-of-way.
we have not purchased, we do have some of it acquired as a result of development that has occurred, and because this is on the master thoroughfare plan, when it develops, they have to dedicate some right-of-way. So some has been dedicated, but there are a lot of it we have not acquired yet.
And we will visit with the landowners and ask them to consider dedicating that right away to us without a fee.
Because that benefit is going to open up all of that.
Tremendously.
Yes.
And as I understand it, there's been some verbal discussions where people were willing. But
Yeah.
until they do their work and we know exactly where and what we want to ask them to. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's really exciting. I was a little confused, and help me understand. The map that was provided
Yes.
in Exhibit C,
Yes.
the piece from Navarro up to where you're going to start building the new street, that whole thing is named Placido Benavides. I thought that it did it, that was Glasgow, it did it, where it did end there, where you turn, I guess, on Walmart. Is that my understanding, or are
I
we
think
talking,
that's
am I
already
lost
been,
here?
I think that's already been changed to Placido
Yeah, I thought we
Has it?
Benavides.
voted on that.
From Navarro to, okay.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, we
correct.
had
I
voted
wasn't,
on that.
I was like, okay.
Yes.
I hadn't paid attention to that. Out there on the street, so that's been changed? Okay, very good.
I don't think there are any addresses up fronting that yet, but
But it's Benavides when you turn right there at.
Off of Navarro.
In front of Popeyes or whatever is right
So
there.
if you go to
Yes.
Wally World, you can take Benavides.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we had changed that.
The signage is there and everything?
yes.
Okay.
If you want to change it, now's the time, because there's
No,
no
I-
addresses there, so
I guess I need to go up there more often.
visit.
Thank you.
Mr. Short, go ahead.
The other.
Just while we're talking about locations, Tracy Park is at the end of Larkspur, I believe. So
correct.
how close is this to Tracy Park?
It, immediately adjacent to
Kind
it.
of bordering it?
Larkspur will dead end to Benavides.
Right.
Okay,
It will
so-
actually tie in there.
So Tracy Park, it would be just beyond? or-
No, on the
or just
inside.
inside?
be
Right
on the
at
west
right at the
side.
intersection.
Yeah.
Okay.
This track
Straight-
here.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
Okay.
Tracy
Yes.
Park?
The
Yeah.
street you take to Ethel Lee Tracy, that ends right there, it goes into the park.
This
That's
one or
actually
this
the
one?
street that this will be on, is that correct?
That's
So
correct.
it'll run right across the face of Ethel Lee Tracy.
Okay.
One of those two.
It's the bigger square.
Is it bigger
the
square?
bigger rectangle right
Okay.
there.
Yes, the bigger one.
Is that some of Tracy's still property there? Ms. Scott, is that why you asked?
I was just wondering how it would impact.
Because I know a lot of that property belonged to Miss Tracy, so.
It's going to make the park a lot more visible,
Right.
and
Right.
probably usage will go up.
That'd be a positive thing as well. But here's that piece right there, Chan.
Mr. Short,
Rectangle.
Yes.
if you're done, Ms. Scott.
Yes, thank you.
Where it intersects at Salem, and I know it's just a preliminary map, but do you have an idea, is it just gonna dead end right now?
No,
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on the map.
well, it
It
will
looks-
dead end, but it'll actually, we're rebuilding 2,000 linear feet of Salem Road as part of this also, reclaim overlay. So you'll have it will make a connection back to Loop 463. However, that's still going to be called Salem Road.
Okay, this is, okay, Placido Benavides is gonna be 2 lanes, right?
Yes,
Is it
for
gonna
now.
come into Salem where it's wider? It seems like on the map it's wider. Or it's still gonna be 2 lanes?
It's still 2 lanes.
Okay, it just kinda looks like it's a little bit
Now,
wider.
right-of-way will be acquired for another future 2 lanes. So it's, basically, we're building half a boulevard section, just like we did on the recent Ball Airport extension. So that in the future, beyond 2040, or whenever we see traffic volumes come up to warrant it, we can build the other half of it and double the capacity of it.
Okay.
Mr. Short, are the plans to bury the utilities,
The,
like lights and stuff like, so we don't have lines?
that hasn't been determined yet, but streetlights streetlights more than likely will be. Now, whether the power going in there to serve development as it occurs is, I have no idea.
Now, the development, when they do inside their development, that has to be underground, their utilities, right, Jared, and with subdivision order? So,
But not the lines along the thoroughfare, right? No.
A really good question, though, because just trying to improve the aesthetics of the whole community.
Sure.
It is raw land, and now's the time to start.
That's right.
That was my
right.
basis.
So we don't have anything in our ordinances that it has to be on the major thoroughfares? Is it time to work on that?
We can always work
Can I
on it.
discuss it with you later?
Bring it, yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
I
good
would
question.
discuss it with staff, and if you feel strongly, bring it back up, put it on the agenda. Yeah. Okay, let's see, E5, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, thank you.
Thank you.
City manager report, we have one item.
yes, we do. So, it's to recognize the city secretary, Scarlett Swoboda, and her staff. April came in, and the mayor's going to get up, Scarlett, and can you leave your post back there for a few minutes? And April, come up so you can be a part of this. You work hard to be a part of this award, too, but it's the 2015 Exemplary 5-Star Service Award that that Scarlett and her staff received from the Texas Department of State Health Department for our vital statistics work. And there's measurements to this award so that they have to meet every year to obtain it. And a couple I want to point out is on birth records, they have to register 95% of those birth records within 1 day. On death records, they have to register in less than 10 days. And so, it's not just, like I told Scarlett, it's not like you just applied for an award and they sent you a nice little package. It's not the case. But we're one of 26 cities and counties and/or counties in the state of Texas that received this award. Again, it shows that we're the best of the best, is what I like to say. And we are the registrar for the whole Victoria County, so which is also a little unusual. So, great work. ladies. One thing I just wanted to let you know, we had said at the last meeting we would bring back the Ben Wilson corridor study on January 5th. We're going to push that to January the 19th. We're going to have Freeze and Nichols engineers here to help answer any questions. And the school's also out during that time, so it'll allow the university personnel to be here. They didn't ask, but I felt like those two reasons would push it to the 19th. So.
Okay, no rush. And congratulations, Ms. Swoboda, again. Good job. Any further business?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New
All
Year.
right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.